Turnipville, the view from our room. We're on the 7th floor. Okay, this was our room in Turnipville. It's pretty good sized, actually. The smallest room we've had so far was in Lvov at the Grand. And it was a lot more expensive than this one. Rooms I've stayed in the Ukraine have had some kind of little vestibule area and a door separating it from the main part. This is where we stayed 3 nights in Turnipville at the Galician Motel, which overlooks a very nice lake in the town.
А де ви тут жили? А, правильно, де ви жили тут? Я у Львові жив. Я кажу, а хто ви такі? А в Львові? Я думаю, що ви...
This is the Lenovici market. It's about 10:15 on Thursday. The market. Oh, this is the Lenovici market. We're going that way, Michael. Not too busy at this part of the market. Probably originally the cattle horse section when my father lived here and my grandpa lived here. Okay, the Lenovici market from the east side uphill.
That's why I can't mountain bike by myself, because I'll get lost. I always have to go with
the house where we've been interviewed the woman who was about 89 years old that used to be a domestic for the Foreman family. Okay, here we are at the old cemetery, and a little bit is enough. Old Jewish cemetery.
So this whole field?
Yep.
Yes.
And again, I'm just doing...
Her mother got in 1939 when Soviets came.
Ah.
They gave her this spot as a memory.
The Jewish cemetery.
Memory.
The old Jewish cemetery.
More work to organize it. You're going to have to help me.
I will.
And,
absolutely. The old Jewish cemetery.
That's what you need to know about it.
In a very big village in the Carpathians, in Carpathians.
Yeah.
The village was big size.
More of the old Jewish cemetery. One of the people just told us that it was even where these 2 buildings are.
It's the surviving forest that never got forested. Alex, the trees are enormous.
Oh,
they're hundreds of years old and they're as big as...
So she doesn't know everybody here well.
А тепер вже коп, ми ще не
I understand.
Ах, я хочу казати, а не можу.
Скільки років вам є?
87.
Ага, 87. 87.
Ага.
She's 87.
87.
О, так?
Yeah, first day.
Lang geleefd als ik hier.
It's a long time to live, she said. Yeah, right.
Jiddische werken verstehe ik, но...
But you can speak it.
Я wil reden.
А сказати
Say
не.
Latin.
Ken het niet.
Yeah,
Ken
can
het niet.
But she speaks that in Yiddish.
Her
She doesn't
Yiddish
speak
is,
Yiddish.
Michael, her Yiddish is almost perfect.
She speaks Yiddish that she doesn't speak Yiddish. That's what she
The
basically.
same thing she told us last year. I don't remember much.
Zoals je de leven mannen joer. Zoals
I
je
learned.
alle zo de leven mannen joer.
You understand?
Yes, she worked for many Jewish families.
Uh-huh.
Razumiem.
We gaan koersen terug. Назад поїдемо.
When do you return back home?
Oh,
In the US.
go today.
Сьогодні їде до Львова, а потім далі.
Ну, все. Vorgesehen, seid gesehen.
Sei gesund.
Oh, yeah. Tag.
Sei gesund.
Ik heb lief reden. Gewoon lief. Bij mij geweest, schöne Engel, is me gemacht lief.
Ah, I made a good living from that.
Ah,
Made a good living. She said she made a good living from the Jews.
Ой,
Yeah. Розумію.
хочу говорити, але
розуміє добре, але ви добре ще на їдіші говорите.
I forget.
Yeah.
I forget.
Ferguson, I know it's Ferguson.
ну, що ви так з тим цвинтаром?
Та просто підійшли, от сина він, бачите, привіз. То його син Майкл називається.
Нічого не.
Міхель.
Вже пропало, мусить так бути.
А так же є, так я прийшов показати. так.
Ті всі
He said that
але
so what, all they disappeared,
муха
all the
під-
tombstones, everything, so it's what it is.
ті війни кожен раз робимо. Ми терпіли, нас палили.
There were many wars here, there was much suffering here,
І ти,
we were suffering.
азай штейт, лейбно азай штейт. Я нічого не зробиш.
But what can we do? Everyone was suffering in this area, from the wars, from all the fighting.
Schöne Welt, schöne, wieder Leben. No.
She's saying it was
A nice world.
It was.
I understand.
Мадам за той раз не вас вам.
Yeah, вона, she is asking if your cousin is here this time. Well,
No. Oh, that's right. She has a
Sure,
good memory.
У
She
вас
asked
добра
about
пам'ять, чи
booming.
добре пам'ятаєте?
Yeah. But see, she's
Ні, вона не приїхала.
Catherine was with my wife.
Ага.
Це моя жінка. Катерина.
Де я лозарезний, де пошли?
Yeah, she spoke, my wife speaks German.
Ага. Та вона говорила по-німецьки буде, то вона розумілася.
So she understands Yiddish. She understood better than I did.
Schöne Menschen, freiliche Menschen, die schöne, freiliche sein.
Danke.
Der schon ein bisschen älter. Ну нічого.
I can hear.
Что то я ходок, есть dat zijn, ну, слег, нічто. Ой, это за світ не знав того, а тепер от що там. У мене були, я мала подругу,
She used to have a friend whose name was Rivka.
вона жила перший.
Добрий
Добрий день.
Добрий день.
Добрий день.
Добрий день.
Що та бабушка?
Говоримо собі з бабцею, розмовляємо, балакаємо.
Любуюся гарними хлопцями.
О, а ми до
He
гарної
asked you, what
жінки.
are you doing, Grandma?
Я пив. Лепший.
Шлехтали.
Не потворив, що ти будеш я.
She says life is hard.
Відколи світ став, нема спокою і
She says there is no peace in the world since the world was created.
нічого не зробиш.
And there is nothing we can do about it.
Що я получаю kleine гроші, трошки получаю. Не добре.
She gets very little pension, people are poor. It's not
Але
a good life
мені
here.
вже все одно.
But she doesn't care anymore. Yeah. Would you like to keep her with, because I think she's like wants to walk out away, but
No, we need to.
it's like, so if you want to ask questions or something, but to keep her like that, it's just,
У нас вони так говорили по-єврейськи, що ви не розпізнали.
та ми, і ви говорите добре. She said they are used to live here people that they spoke such in Yiddish that you would never recognize that they are not Jews.
Але вже всі,
Such, but they all died.
всі помирали,
They all died.
нема нікого. Нема нікого. Я
They
тільки
did business with each other. They spoke both.
нас тут. Я тільки на своїх ходіїв знаю.
With each other, we need to go. We do it that way.
Добренько, тут перепрошуємо.
Я працювала.
Yeah, I remember.
Так, розуміємо, ясно.
A
Ну,
family
вибачайте,
come
що
here, Foreman?
форм, як він називався?
Хто?
В кого ви працювали були? Як він називався? Не знаю.
Знаю, Шаїр. Шаїр мав був зелений.
Шаїр.
Шаїр.
Shire. Okay. We would say Shire.
Зі, песі.
Песа,
I
то
know that.
жінка, that's
It's
why.
on the, it's on the,
Це як діти кидай менші, це як діти.
Very good
very
man.
good, yeah, very good people.
I'm translating Yiddish for you.
Це як діти кидай. Так мені довго
She
снилося.
worked for Shire.
She had night dreams
Мені так довго не
about
снилося.
them for a very long period of time.
Так мені довго снилося, що я мусила взяти свічок.
She had night dreams so often about them that she
занести.
had to bring
І треба було
the candles.
І треба було занести, ну, де молилися, я хочу казати.
До церкви чи до
Де
синагоги?
молилися, як? Щіль.
Шиля.
Щіль. Де молилася їхня церква, єврейська.
Так.
Щіль.
Шиля.
Щіль.
And she brought these candles to light on the where the synagogue used to be, where they prayed.
Я занесла, і вони прийняли
And
мене.
they accepted. She said they accepted.
Взяли в мене, і мене перестали мені снитися.
And she stopped having this night dream
Ну,
about them.
нічого.
Well,
Ким
so-
нах?
So she, in fact, she did candles prayed over them boy the synagogue.
Yes.
Ну що, от презент,
Всього доброго.
This again.
Thank you,
This
Alex.
You're welcome.
was serendipitous. It's again the time we come. This is the spot of one of the three old synagogues. It is now a store. Thank Oksana, where she used to work here, around the corner from where my grandfather's shop was. Oksana, this is for you, the building that you used to work in. Yeah. And there. I don't know if your father's still there, but there's the shop. Yes, sirree. There it is. Okay. Here we are in modern Lonowitz. This is my grandfather's street and where my father lived, just like from the 1930s. Okay, Mr. Bonham's house, and right next door is Grandpa Kiesta's house, and this is what it looks like. Grandpa Kiesta's house. Now a two-flat, pretty sure, between 1965 and 1968. Across the street from Grandpa's house, and down the street where the first teams live, down straight ahead on the left.
Ask him if this is his house.
Тут мій дім?
One of the entrances to Grandpa's house.
Motorcycle. It was almost,
Grandpa's house
he told me
again.
what it was. It was almost exactly the same way.
Oh, I missed him. The guy had his head out the window and then he stopped. This is where we had lunch the first day. Not a nice little lunch. Just go back around.
The
Go
ways
back.
down there,
They have park facility. Okay. The old Jewish Community Center building still left there. Son of a bitch, she's acting up. Gestapo headquarters. This is the ghetto area where all the Jews were fenced in 1941-42 before the actual massacre. This is where it happened. In this general area, and it was bulldozed down. The two old surviving Jewish houses, probably wealthy families, just a few, 50 yards or so from the community building.
Alex.
Balam de ra kirute. Vayame let nalet kultani bakale kon yom kon shai dekal bet Israel. Bagala uvisman kariv viremu. Did I miss something? Oh, I did. Thank you. Yeshemet Rabah Vamrach La'am Ulamei Alamaya. Thank you. Yeshemet Rabah Mamvarach La'am Ulami Alamahaya. Yet Parach Yeveshtabak Vi Yet Pa'ar Vi Yet Solomon Vi Yet Nasai. Yet Hadar, Yet Allah, Yet Allah, Shemai, Kedusha, Berehu. Leila, Men, Kor, Berkata, Basherata. Kush, Bekhat, Mata, Damaran, Balma, Verum, Amen. Yahai, Shalal, Rabbah, Mi, Shamaha, Shahayim, Aliyun, Valkol, Israel, Vemru. Amen. Osher, Shalom, Bem, Romahav, Ho Yaeshe, Shalom, Aleinu, Valkol, Israel, Vemru. Amen. Dakru. Area that the Jewish people used to call Silk Piece Park. It's a much bigger lake, and there is a bar restaurant, and over it is 8-room accommodations. This is right at the entrance to Lanovici. This is the old mill. We're driving, leaving out of town, and there's somebody with a broken thumb. He's sticking it up to show me. And so it ends. Our visit to Lanovici. And so it ends our visit to Lanovici. We're at the train station, about to take a train from Lubbock to Krakow and start the end of our trip in Krakow. Stayed last night in Lubbock, and Michael and Alex are doing takeaway forward. So here we are in Poland, riding on the train, zooming along on our way to Krakow, and seeing those nearby sites with trees and buildings and towns that are close to Krakow. And Michael is seeing where we are going, and I am seeing where we have been. This is in Krakow, graffiti in front of a bicycle shop. I just happened to notice it, and I can talk to somebody else about what kind of insult it is. The castle in Krakow. One little tiny part of it. Here we go. A big wall around the castle and parts of the outside versus the inner court. We'll be there.
Be there.
Huh.
Very interesting. It was very funny also. I will tell you later.
Sure. The Vistula River from the base of the castle. There are hundreds of people here. Sights of the dragon from above. On the hill is to commemorate the Polish hero Kościuszki. This is the main courtyard of the castle with its own cathedral. On Saturday morning, the inner courtyard of the castle, and there are just a few people visiting here on Saturday morning. I'm being tongue-in-cheek when I say that.
I see where the paranoia is coming from. People worried about losing their culture and westernization. easier to understand now that I've been.
Okay, let's walk a little bit. Let's.
Get one pick of this deal here.
Sure, sure. Go ahead. And then there is a beautiful courtyard over there. Yes.
This is the main inner court of the castle. And again, there's only a few people here. Yes. They are renovating the castle. One of the towers we can't see at all, but last year, this part of the inner court, there was no work being done.
I reach during a day a point where I can no longer pay attention. And I never know when I'm going to reach that point till right before I get to it. So I'm hoping that I can make it through all three of these things because I really want to see all three of them. So
We are about to enter Kazimierz. She is a god here, one of the entrances to it.
Climb.
Climb over?
Sure.
I'll get on your shoulders.
Yeah.
come on. Jewish style. I like it.
I think that's where we went.
This is the cemetery, the old Jewish cemetery in Krakow, which we cannot go into because it is Shabbos. And but anyway, this is it. And there's a photograph. And as soon as this photo is done, I'll zoom in and take a picture of the.
You know, I had a thought, just a brief thought about it. And I was wondering if the other synagogue, the tourism synagogue, would be open.
This one is open.
Okay. I can't see a thing.
That is of cemeteries in other towns. It's pretty much the same, just in better shape.
There's Alex and Dad. Jewish restaurant truck. This used to be a separate town, but now it's part of Krakow. So this is no longer a working synagogue. There's almost no Jews in Krakow anymore. And so it's mostly for tourism now in this quarter. Although the other synagogue I showed you is a real synagogue. And these people coming out, ironically, are Germans. So they're either German Jews, or they're Germans going to gloat about what they successfully did.
If you go.
There's Dad at the Jewish, we call it Jewish Kachka store.
Zoom in on that.
Oh, and this, of course, would be the Rabbi bobblehead. The fur hat is authentic. The Jews in this area wore those fur hats to identify themselves. And there's a rumor that they started wearing them because of Russian royalty who also wore them, but nobody knows for sure. There's a portrait with the same kind of gig on. I have no idea what this says.
One in there.
What's going on? Oh, it's on photo. This is on the side of one of the synagogues in the old Kazimierz town of Krakow, right on the side. This is one of the synagogue that the side of it was that Jesus Superstar thing, and we were in it last year, but for some reason on this particular Saturday it was closed.
Well, this is the cemetery that's closed because it's Saturday. You can only see a portion of it, but we're standing up on remnants of a wall from a building that used to be here
You look
to take this shot.
Yeah, very nice. Right.
It's because we're in the Jewish section of Krakow. There's a ton of synagogues. There were 128,000 Jews here. They were 28% of the population until the Nazis massacred them. Active in city life, started the first athletic leagues here. The deputy mayor of the city was even Jewish in the late 1800s, early 1900s, for almost 20 years until he died. This city really accepted the Jews. Now it's as anti-Semitic as Ukraine or the rest of Poland, and very few Jews live here, and most live assimilated. There's Dad and Alex looking at the memorial plaque / map of the area.
There is the square of the section, this like 10 square, the Reina Market square of this.
So that right there is the Reformed synagogue that is still active. Many of the Jews who still live here, and there are a much smaller number, maybe 5,000 max in all of Krakow, which is well over 1 million people. But it's nice that it's there. And Alex even went to a bar mitzvah there, so who knows, maybe Jews again will be part of this city. But you see a lot of anti-Jewish graffiti, not just Jesus is super like Dad shot earlier, but some stuff that's a whole lot worse. Alex says that some of it is, unless you know, you wouldn't know it's anti-Jewish graffiti. It's kind of code that they use so it doesn't get erased.
Last year.
And here's a fitness store with a picture of guess who? The governor of California. Here's the front of this synagogue. Dad's disappointed because it isn't open, and he says it should be because it's reform. But Alex is trying to explain to him that reform here doesn't mean the same thing as reform in the United States. And for some reason Dad wants a picture of the satellite dishes, so there's the satellite dishes.